tell me how mm, it is to make a choice. So we all are different human beings, right? Talk about the
Yep.
human being condition, right? We're very social, and some of us are more introverted than
Yep.
extroverted.
Yep.
So how, and with your book, how can we be more empowered to make that
Yeah.
choice,
So
right?
I think the important insight from behavioral science here is that social connection and therefore the happiness and well-being and relationships that follow from that is to some extent a choice that we make. All social interactions that we have a choice over, you get to a point where you have to decide. I refer to it as the choice because I think it is arguably the most important choice we make over and over and over and over again,
Yep.
which is, do I reach out and engage with you or do I hold back? Right? And that choice, the choice shows up in lots of different forms. Do I talk with a stranger? Do I type to you or pick up the phone and talk to you? Do I ask deep and meaningful questions or do I hold back? Do I share this compliment or this feeling of gratitude or request for help or honest piece of advice for
Mhm.
you, honest feedback? Do I
Mhm.
share those things or do I hold them back? So the choice masquerades in lots and lots of different ways, but at its core is this conflict between approaching, wanting to engage, and fear or avoidance, being nervous about it, right? And when both of those things are strong, we get approach avoidance conflicts where we'd like to do this thing, but we're nervous. I'd like to go up and talk to that other CEO I'd like to meet, but maybe they don't want to talk to me. That's approach avoidance conflict. What we find in our work is that, well, other researchers have found that these two systems in our brain are independent of each other.
That's approach and avoidance. Is that
Approach and avoidance. Yeah.
okay?
The
Okay.
factors that govern approach, the system that governs approach in our brain is different from the system that governs avoidance.
Okay.
That's how you can get both of them being very strong at the same time. They're not dynamic with each
Yeah.
other. They can operate independently. And when you don't have any interest to approach or any interest to avoid, then you're indifferent, right?
You're indifferent.
But the opposite of that is approach avoidance. And people do vary a little bit in the strength of these two motives, in what guides their choice. Extroverts tend, for instance, to have a little bit stronger approach orientation, or rather, a little less of the avoidance
Okay.
orientation.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the important insight is that what extroversion and introversion is really about is how you make the choice. And this is something that people, I think, routinely misunderstand about what
Mhm.
personality actually is, or at least the
Yeah.
way we measure it as psychologists. I think that's the important thing. The way we often measure it as psychologists, it's not describing the type of person you are, it is describing the type of choices that you make.
Uh-huh.
So, for instance, people might often think that introverts and extroverts, they actually enjoy different things, that extroverts like talking to people, whereas introverts like talking to people less.
Mhm.
That turns out not to be quite right. When you put
Mhm.
people in experiments and you actually have them talk, introverts and extroverts both enjoy talking to people, right? They both get tired talking to people later, but they're energized during it. They both actually feel more authentic when they're talking to someone and engaging in social interaction than when they're not. What differs between the two is how they make the choice, and
Mhm.
therefore what they think they will like or enjoy, and therefore the habits they create and what they do. And that
How
I
I
think
make a choice. All right.
I think that's kind of a revelation. But psychologists have been discovering this for decades.